Hi, we're back today with card number 4 out of 5 of my Christmas series. So today's card is pretty simple, but I love it, and it uses our new fabric that's available in the mini catalog. And I'm going to show you a little bit later in my demo how I rip this to use it as ribbon in place of our actual ribbon. But I really like the look. So first we're going to get started with cherry cobbler cardstock, and this piece is 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, and we're going to start out by just putting that through the big shot to make our embossed impression. And you'll want to line this up. You can see right through this thing. Line it up so that your pattern is going to be equal on both sides. Okay, so it's not all shoved to one end or one side. You want to make sure it's as equal as you can possibly get it. So we're going to just run that through real quick here. And voila, did you remember to put the big shot on your Christmas list so your loved ones will buy it for you for Christmas? Okay, so that's the first part. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to glue this. I've already prepared this with the scallop eyelet punch, but I'm going to show you that in a moment if you haven't seen me use that before. So we're just going to line that up just right about there, just above those little dots. Okay, just set that aside for a moment. I want to show you this piece next. So what I've done is I've already cut this one. So when you're doing this, your artichoke is going to be 3 5/8 by 1 1/2. And we're layering it with the crumb cake. So this one's a little bit bigger. The crumb cake is going to be 3 1/2 by 1 3/8. So on this one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my border punching first. So it's important when you're doing this to make sure you're centering it, because that's what I've done with this one. I've already centered this one on my little chalkboard ledge, I call it. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this one. And the reason it's important to do that for both pieces is because we're trying to line up that pattern, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. Okay, so there's this one. So when I bring them together and layer them up, my pattern is going to mirror each other. Now sometimes if you're not quite off on the ball or it's just off a little bit, sometimes you'll see that, like in this case it's pretty good, but sometimes if you're using it and your ends aren't quite exactly the way you want it to be, it might be too that sometimes you've got one of these papers turned over. So always you want to make sure too that you are keeping them in the orientation that you originally punched them in. So if you can follow all that. If you can't, send me an email and I'll explain it to you again. But we're going to use cherry cobbler ink, classic ink, and I'm using the Season's Greetings image from Many Merry Messages again. It's a great set to have in your collection. If you don't have it, you'll want to pick that up for the season. And I'm using wood mount, so I'm just going to take a little peek under there and make sure I catch all of that. So here we've got our Season's Greetings. That's going to get mounted on here. And then I'm going to show you about this new fabric. Now, also, did you know that our new fabric matches the Deck the Halls Designer Series paper? You gotta love that about Stampin' Up, that not only do the papers and the inks all match, now even the fabric matches. So let me show you. When I'm doing this card and I'm using this fabric in place of ribbon, what I've done is I haven't cut that with my scissors. And you see that nice little sort of a, what do we call it, a vintage look, that edge? That vintage look is established by cutting the fabric just with a little snip at the top, and then I actually rip the fabric. Oops, too close to the edge. Hang on, let me get a new one started here. So we're going to go in a little bit more to get the first one going. So see, I've got one ratty little edge there, and I'm going to snip it about a 1/2 inch away, and I just rip. That's it. That's all you do. And you can just peel away a few of these loose threads if you have some. But otherwise, you're left with this little thin piece of fabric that is used like a ribbon. So that's what I've done here. And I'm going to tie this one around the back of this assembly. And I'm just doing a knot. I need to do a video for you on knots and bows. I get that requested all the time, and I really need to take some time to do it. Let me see if I can just show you the basics. When I'm going to turn towards me because that's how I do teach it. When I'm doing this is just a simple box knot. I'm putting my left over the right and under. And that one, oops, sorry about that. That makes this ribbon come straight down. Now it's this ribbon on top that you want to watch, because I'm going to turn it up to the sky like you would if you were, I call it like picking apples. You turn the apple up to the sky to pick it off the tree. And you want to be in that cross formation. Then I have my ring finger on the knot, and I bring the top ribbon over the bottom ribbon, and you can see how both fabrics are pointing up. This one on my right here, I'm just manipulating that so it ends up showing right side up as well. And I just go like so. And then you can just sort of trim your ribbons so that it's not hanging too far off your card. Okay, so that's all for that part. Then my actual card is going to be craft. And then I'm just going to bring this assembly in. Oops. And voila, you're going to have a great little card here. So if we're going to put this together, I do encourage you to use the Tombow adhesive. And the reason why is because with all these bumps we've created with the embossing folder, I just feel like you can get really good adhesion when you use this adhesive. That goes on like so. Put that on with a couple of dimensionals, and you're done. Voila. Hope you enjoyed my card. That's number 4 or 5. Come on back. We've got one more in this series to show you. It'll be up real soon. Bye.